we'll close here and talk a little bit about our recent trip. We went out to Mahoning Drive-In Theater for the Joe Bob Briggs Jamboree event.
Yes,
That was making some
yes.
headlines. If you follow Angry Video Game Nerd, if you follow Joe Bob Briggs, if you follow Shudder, if you follow any of these pages, this was probably brought up at some point in your social media feed. And we made it to the Sunday event.
So
And
Sunday to Monday, we were there for all night basically.
yeah,
We stayed for the camping.
this was a cool time just to see a good crowd. We'd been to this theater before, but that was when it was still on slightly stricter COVID lockdown territory. Now it was a little bit more open ended. Most people were kind of maskless, and you were allowed into the cafeteria area and all the booths and see all the merchandise and the scenery that Mahoney has
There's
to
a
offer.
lot there's a lot more scenery, a lot more booths. There was a live music there. Some of the music was really, really good and really loud and they sounded good. And then there's like a band or two that I was like, I'm not really here for
A
it.
couple
but,
couple trashy emo bands, unfortunately.
yeah,
like cover
yeah,
bands.
yeah. They're complaining about not getting hugged today or something.
yeah. Yeah. Please hold my hand.
But yeah, so when we went the first time, we got to see The Thing, a film that you and I both really, really appreciate and love. But then this time it was more for like we were there mostly for the actual
The event experience.
the actual event experience. And the movie that they were showing was House of Wax, the original 1950s film, and Them, which is the also 1950s B movie with the killer ants.
Yeah, I mean, we hit it up with some of the locals, broke bread and it just caught up with some interesting people. Like, what was the actress who was there too? What's her name? Something Quigley. She's from Sorority Babes. She's from Return of the Living Dead.
Linnea Quigley.
Linnea Quigley. Yeah, we like loosely kind of engaged in some way. Like, we were just there in the room with her, and she just kind of like we were looking at other things. That was like
Right.
before we knew who she really was. Joe Bob himself, he and Darcy were great. I mean, I could tell
He's a tall dude. He's a really tall dude.
he
I'll
lurks
say
like
that.
crazy, man. And I'm
Granted, I was predicting that he was just very tired, maybe a little intoxicated or on something, just to get through the day because if you're there from Thursday all the way to that Sunday night or like Monday morning, like if you're there that whole time, you just got to be beat, seeing all these people walking around taking photos and signing autographs and
yeah, he
whatnot.
looked exhausted. I mean, I was even joking with you. Like, by the time we had gone there till the point of like photo ops and signings, he had to have been taking a nap in like the projection booth or something because
Oh yeah.
he needs it. He's been doing that for what seemed like many days. It wasn't even over a weekend. He was just he was there like ahead of time and just probably just so beat. And I get that completely, especially in your age and given your status. And by the way, impressive turnout too. Like, you'd think Joe Bob
There's a lot of people.
would have like a limited number of fans. He's got a lot of people lining up who really just want to meet him.
Right.
Like more than any other horror host or movie personality or anybody. Like, he's pretty popular. I was surprised.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, well, it would only make sense though because most of the people that I would hear around me had brought up Shudder or Shudder something in some sense. So it's got to be like most of the people there were all Shudder subscribers. So as long as that platform keeps getting bigger, people will know of Joe Bob and The Last Drive-In and everything like that. So
Yeah.
so it's only gonna grow bigger. And of course, like I'm wondering how many of these are like people that only watched The Last Drive-In, or how many of the people there who looked older maybe actually even watched stuff like Monster Vision from back then.
Yeah, well, we might have been like one of the few younger people there. I mean, everybody else looked a little bit older, and these are all walks of life. A lot of like punk rock, redneck, boomers, Gen Xers. A lot of these.
Oh no, it was all it was all a very different crowd. I was very surprised with that. Like it was like you go to your like gaming convention, it's all the same crowd there. Like you're not gonna
Yeah.
find much, or you go to some like like politics convention, and it's all
Oh
going
yeah,
to
like
be
was
those
like
crowds of like
what's the Politicon or whatever? What's the
yeah,
yeah
I think it's called Politicon or something, and it's like you're gonna find all those types of like weirdo like s- just groups of people there, but you guys share the same love for this genre, you know,
yeah
or
this medium?
yeah, you know, like this medium. So definitely compared to other events and conventions, this one felt like it was kind of bringing a bunch of different people together,
Well, and because
which is really special.
this crowd was was such a huge variety too, it made it easy to quickly fist bump and meet James Rolfe, who we did not expect to see there.
That was it was probably the most surprising moment of that event was just like go walking around and like and then like, oh yeah, like look at this store, look at this thing in this booth, and then James Rolfe is just sitting there, and we're like, oh, okay, you know, because there was no.
He was just smiling and waving. And
Yeah.
he had his shades on, so he wasn't like trying to do anything like serious or get into any real.
He wasn't like sitting at a
conversations.
desk
Yeah,
with autographs or anything. He was just hanging out.
yeah. It was the rest of his nerd crew kind of like selling their projects and material. Although, did you see that he's starting a podcast? I think in August.
James Rolfe.
Yeah, a Cinemassacre podcast.
What's with all his buddies?
Yeah,
with all those like
you put
rental review people.
the rental review. Yeah, air quote buddies.
Air quote buddies.
The ones are.
Yeah,
I always imagine like his wife is trying to kick out of the basement.
Who do you think has a closer relationship? Doug Walker and his crew of people, or James Rolfe and the rental review buddies? I can't even tell anymore.
Yeah, it's
Because
almost one and the same.
It's almost one and the same. Except it's one and the same. Except I feel like Doug Walker is the one who's taking advantage of most of his people, and I feel like some of the rental review guys and all that
I've infiltrated James Rolfe.
has infiltrated James Rolfe. I feel like it's kind of separate. I don't know.
Yeah. There was a really embarrassing photo of the whole Channel Awesome Nostalgia Critic crew.
Oh,
it's like their recent family photo, and I was like, oh my god.
You gotta post that photo on the video version of this podcast or something. Just show that photo real quick. It's so gross. Ugh.
Yeah. I can definitely put that as like a as the thumbnail, because that was the scariest thing.
Terrifying photo.
Terrified my week. I'll tell you that much, brother.
Oh man. But it was a really nice time to be there. There was a booth where they had all the really it was a booth where they just had old Blu-rays and movies, but like they weren't they weren't the official Blu-rays. It was all like Blu-rays that were kind of fan made.
Yeah.
Which I really liked. Like not that I really knew many of the films, but just that like fans were like preserving them on physical copies like this, and in a DVD Blu-ray format.
Yeah.
As well.
Well, and that's like again one of the best versions you can get right now of The House on the Edge of the Park is in one of those independent companies that I think
there's like an independent Blu-ray.
It's like I think it's part of a double feature with another film. I'll have to double check what it is, but they restored it to 1080p quality, and they actually added this more homegrown drive-in sort of style to it. So I think there's not an intermission, but there's like an opening and like a closing section that's very much akin to a drive-in experience that they attached to this restored version of the movie. So that's
awesome.
Mean, that's dedication. I always respect people that like put in that much amount of effort into something that may or may not deserve it. Who knows? Yeah.
Exactly. Tons of different booths for all this type of stuff. They had some really interesting foods there. We made sure not to skip out on trying some of Joe Bob's spicy balls.
Yeah, these chicken meatballs. But yeah, they were good. I was just so full at that point. I couldn't eat them all.
What do you got there?
All right, so these are Joe Bob's spicy balls, his gonads, his dingalings. He's got 4 of them, and we're gonna chow down on one of them. That's the spicy meatball.
Yeah. And then meeting Joe Bob and Darcy for the photo was pretty interesting. We thought the photo op was going to be in front of the RV where, like in the last drive-in, they're like they sit there with their chairs and the RV's behind them, and like it feels like they're out camping. But no, they decided to do the photo op.
Yeah, they're not going to stand
in front of the ant.
They're not going to stand for 2 hours. They're so wiped and exhausted. I kind of understand. Yeah, the need to not.
I thought maybe they would like set up chairs for them over there.
Yeah.
Though. I don't know. Like they would be sitting down or something.
This isn't a knock against Mahoning Drive-In Theater or Joe Bob and Co. It's just it seems it was slightly disorganized compared to what the ticket that I paid for was selling at. But I won't knock it. I mean, there's a lot going on.
Like apparently on the first day on Thursday they were doing the printouts, but like I guess the printing thing broke. I'm guessing like from what one of the people there had told us that like the whole thing kind of messed up. So yeah, but nothing on them, the team. It's just like, yeah, there's a lot of people, and of course this was in the like in terms of where this event took place in Mahoning's history, the drive-in was just about to be shut down.
It was announced Thursday the historic drive-in theater in Lehighton will be able to stay open. It was in danger of being sold to Green Skies Clean Energy LLC based in Connecticut to be turned into a solar energy farm.
When we put it out to the public that we didn't want this to happen and we wanted the chance to buy the land for ourselves and allow ourselves to continue for another 72 years, Green Skies saw that.
The company decided to back out of the project, saying in part, the outpouring of support from the local community and cinephiles near and far has demonstrated the unique value the Mahoning Drive-In represents. Green Skies is proud to have played a part in helping preserve a celebrated business like the Mahoning Drive-In Theater. It's a move the theater's general manager, Mark Nelson, says is a huge victory, and the timing is perfect as they're in the middle of one of their most popular events, the Joe Bob Briggs Drive-In Jamboree.
When they saw the amount of money that Mahoning Drive-In Theater was making and the massive turnouts of people who were in huge support of 35 millimeter drive-in home theater quality movie going, they were floored by it, and they said, you know what, we'll just we'll move our solar farm someplace else. We won't do it here. You guys keep rocking. And I thought that was beautiful. That was one of the most beautiful takeaways.
Especially, like getting to be at this event where everyone has come together here to just really support this drive-in, and knowing that like this was the first event since they got that confirmation that it wouldn't be shutting down, and you got people like Joe Bob Briggs here and everything, and it felt like everyone here was kind of part of something that like, yeah, like I mean I know it's a joke, but it's like I'm so proud of this community because or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like again, everyone around them was like, yeah, the drive-in will never die. But I would probably not want to buy that T-shirt in the likely case, or not likely, but in the case if the drive-in ever actually does die, and I still have that shirt. I'm like, well,
yeah, because you look like the biggest jerk on the planet, and everyone's gonna be disgusted with you and your existence.
I can't believe you're wearing something that died.
Yeah. How dare you? But it's a good time. Look, to those out there listening and listen to us rambled, I mean, support your local theaters if they're around, and keep business like these thriving, because it's become a statement now that to say that you're even going to the movies. It's like it's ridiculous that that's gone to that level. But really, it's important. Like if there are like any sort of businesses, like local private owned businesses that are really trying to push and bring cinema back to its roots in any way, in any capacity, yeah, just give them a shout out. That's all you have to do. You don't have
just
to
let them know that it's there, and like,
yeah,
just like, hey, they're opening and they have showtimes, they have movies.
Keep the public informed. Keep it old school. Keep that alive. That's all we ask. So, And we'll always do our part. We'll probably make our way out to Mahoning again sometime soon, because
We got to see if they got some really cool movies lined up here
yeah.
for the rest of the summer, or maybe in the fall.
Yep.
Are there many drive-in movies left in this country?
Well, I don't like to think about it that way, Jay. You know, there was probably the heyday of the drive-in was about 1956. There were 10,000 drive-in movie theaters, and today there's like 1,000. So that growth curve is not looking real good. But
No.
But see, like 4 or 5 years ago, we were shutting down 4 or 5 drive-in movies a week. And this year, we're just shutting down about 2 a week. So I think they're, they're coming back any day now. I always say the drive-in will never die.